Hi, welcome to topic 8, which is follow-up and reinforcement of our course Training and Development. Earlier in this course, we spoke about the importance of management in the design and development of the training initiative, but here management has a really significant role to play. So what are some of the recommendations for proper follow-up on training? Well, one of the things that can be done is that the manager can be provided with a list of behaviors to look for, almost a checklist of how they can be sure to further reinforce the training by virtue of asking for it, expecting it, monitoring it, managing it, and giving feedback to the trainee on how well they are practicing or accomplishing the particular trained behavior. So management has a key role in obviously the follow-up and reinforcement of training because they're the ones who are closest to the job incumbent or the trainee. The training department, the subject matter experts that were part of the training team in creating it, very often don't have exposure to the trainee once they go back on the job. However, there are things that can be done outside of the manager's control. The training team, or perhaps it's the human resources function, can create tests that they continue to send out post-training to make sure that people retained the knowledge and that they're still using it. You can ask questions that are more troubleshooting in nature. Have you tried to use the skill? What has been your experience? What has worked well? What are some of the things that you still struggle with? Of the training, what has been retained, and what are the things that you no longer practice, and why? So those kinds of things can act, one as a reinforcer just by virtue of reminding people of what's being done, but it also can serve as a way of providing good input into how the training could be improved. Other things that are often used for follow-up or reinforcement are timed or scheduled review sessions. It could be as simple as a webinar that people attend to discuss their experiences, to receive more detailed information on how to accomplish it, sharing of success stories to motivate and incent people to continue to use the skills when they see the success. There are a whole host of things that can be done as follow-up and reinforcement. It can be paper-based, just send out an email. Newsletters are great for this purpose. If there is a company newsletter, having an occasional article on how well someone was able to use the skill to accomplish a task is a great way to reinforce the skill and also serves to create a little bit of competition, as very often people want to be praised for their use of the skill. They want to be spotlighted or highlighted. So it forces people sometimes to compete with each other in a good way to be the first or the best to use the particular skill that was part of the training. There are a whole host of management tools that can be used. You can create checklists to use for managers to oversee the employee as they do the new skill, the new task, and make sure that they check the box for have you done step A, step B, step C, etc. You can just look at the results. If the idea was to reduce error rate, how many errors occurred initially, then the training occurred, how many errors occur post-training, as just a way to follow up and see, is the training effective? Is it accomplishing what it had been set out to do? I'm sure you can think of a whole laundry list of other things that may be usable as part of the reinforcement, and I've given you a lot of suggestions in our text as well as to how management can follow up with employees. The next thing to do is to verify that people are using training, and this is sometimes actually easier if the training was delivered via electronic means, because then you can see, did people complete the training because they had to have gone through a series of quizzes. They had to perhaps acknowledge that they were in each section of the training. That can all be tracked from what's called a learning management system. But you can also look for examples of the training being used, depending on what was trained, in sales presentations, in marketing documentation, in the way that people do their job. Are you seeing the concepts, the skills that were part of the training embedded into how they do their job?